Hey guys, welcome to Confys Recap. Today I'll be taking you through the complete story of the Wonderfools, from episode 1 all the way to the final episode. This is not your typical superhero story. It's messy, emotional, funny, and surprisingly deep. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. The story begins in 1999, in a quiet town called Haisong, during a time when people were obsessed with the idea that the world might end with the new millennium. But while everyone else is worried about Y2K, our female lead, Yoon Chae-ni, is dealing with something much more personal. She's dying. Chae-ni has a terminal heart condition, and she knows her time is limited. Instead of living peacefully, she feels trapped, angry at life, angry at fate, and desperate to experience anything before it's too late. That desperation pushes her into making a reckless decision. She plans her own fake kidnapping to extort money from her grandmother. But as you might expect, things don't go according to plan. During the execution of this plan, Chae-ni crosses paths with two very different individuals. Kang Robin, a rough and unpredictable guy, and Sun Kyung-hoon, who is more hesitant but gets dragged into the situation. What starts as a messy, almost comedic situation quickly turns into something far more serious. They end up at a mysterious landfill site on the outskirts of town, a place that looks ordinary at first, but is actually hiding something dangerous. That night becomes the turning point of the entire story. At the landfill, they are exposed to toxic chemicals. Chaos breaks out. Chae-ni collapses and dies. But then, something impossible happens. She comes back to life. This moment marks the beginning of everything strange and unexplainable. After that night, Chae-ni realizes she's no longer normal. Her body has changed. She's stronger, faster, and somehow different. And she's not the only one. Robin and Kyung-hoon also begin to show signs of unusual abilities. Each of them develops different powers, though they don't fully understand how or why. At first, they're scared, confused, even in denial. But slowly, reality starts to sink in. They've become something else entirely. Around this time, we're introduced to another key character, Lee Eun-jong. On the surface, he's just a quiet and somewhat awkward civil servant. But it quickly becomes clear that he knows more than he's letting on. Eun-jong has his own secrets, and as the story progresses, we learn that his connection to these strange events runs deeper than anyone could have imagined. As the episodes move forward, the group forms an unlikely alliance. They don't trust each other at first. In fact, most of the time they argue, clash, and make impulsive decisions. They're not heroes, not even close, but that's what makes this story so interesting. These are flawed, broken people trying to figure out their place in a world that suddenly doesn't make sense anymore. At first, they try to use their powers for small, personal reasons, solving their own problems, protecting themselves, or even just testing their limits. But it doesn't take long before bigger threats begin to appear. Strange incidents start happening around Haesyeong. People go missing. Mysterious figures begin to appear. And there are hints that others, people just like them, exist. This leads to one of the biggest reveals in the drama, the existence of a secret organization known as the VunderKinder Project. This organization has been operating in the shadows for years, conducting illegal experiments on humans. Their goal? To create enhanced individuals with superhuman abilities. And the toxic chemicals from the landfill? They were part of those experiments. Suddenly, everything starts to make sense, and at the same time, everything becomes even more dangerous. The group realizes they're not accidents. They're products of something much bigger, something far more sinister. As they dig deeper, they uncover horrifying truths. Innocent people have been used as test subjects. Lives have been destroyed in the name of scientific progress. And worst of all, some of those experiments didn't fail. They succeeded, meaning there are others out there, people with powers but not necessarily good intentions. This is where the stakes truly begin to rise. Midway through the series, the tone becomes darker. The group is no longer just trying to understand their powers. They're trying to survive. Enemies begin to target them. Trust becomes fragile, and internal conflicts start tearing them apart. Chae-ni, in particular, goes through the most emotional journey. At the beginning, she didn't even care about living. But now, she has something to fight for: her friends, her purpose, and maybe even love. Her relationship with Eunjong slowly develops into something meaningful. Unlike the others, Eunjong understands her pain. He sees beyond her anger and fear. And for the first time, Chae-ni begins to feel truly seen. But of course, happiness doesn't come easily in this story. Just as the group begins to grow stronger, the truth about Eunjong's past is revealed, and it changes everything. He's not just connected to the experiments, he's part of them. This revelation creates a major conflict. Chae-ni feels betrayed. The group becomes divided, and their already fragile bond begins to break. At the same time, the main antagonist finally steps into the spotlight. A powerful figure connected to the VunderKinder Project, someone who believes that only the strong deserve to survive. Their plan is extreme: to release a massive amount of toxic chemicals into the city, creating more enhanced individuals, no matter the cost. In other words, chaos. By the time we reach episodes 10 to 12, everything is on the line. The group is forced to come back together, putting aside their differences for one final mission: to stop the catastrophe. The final battle is intense, emotional, and filled with sacrifices. Each character plays a crucial role, using their powers in ways they never imagined. But it's Chae-ni who takes the biggest risk. In a desperate attempt to stop the disaster, she pushes her abilities beyond their limit. It's a moment that defines her entire journey, from someone who wanted to escape life to someone willing to give everything to protect it. The climax is both thrilling and heartbreaking. They manage to stop the villain's plan. The city is saved, but the cost is heavy. In the aftermath, everything feels different. The chaos is over, but the emotional weight remains. Relationships have changed, people have grown, and some wounds may never fully heal. Chae-ni is no longer the same girl we met in episode 1. She has found meaning, strength, and a reason to keep going. And that's the true message. Even in a world filled with darkness, pain, and uncertainty, people can change. They can grow. And sometimes, the most imperfect individuals become the most important heroes. And honestly, that's what makes The Wonderfools such a powerful and unforgettable drama. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.